Executives from the Royal Caribbean Group continue to open up the book, pull the curtain back, and show transparency. They shared the exact number of COVID positive cases that they've seen in their organization aboard cruise ships since the cruise restart. It's a surprising number. We will have that number for you today, plus we will have their thoughts on how COVID has impacted cruising. You'll be surprised. It's interesting to see. We have that, plus we have the story that the entire country has been talking about, whether or not you cruise. Crystal Cruise News. Those fugitive, runaway cruise ships that said, I'm not going back to the United States. I don't want the handcuffs. They went to the Bahamas and they got the handcuffs. That's right. The Crystal Symphony and the Crystal Serenity have been seized. We have exclusive video of the captain from the Crystal Symphony as he tells crew members, we made a good run. This is it. We're seized. We're done. We have that and all the implications of that on today's show right here on Island Time. Islanders, it is Sunday, and I hope you're having a great weekend. Welcome to the show. Welcome to Island Time. I am your host, Derek, and I'm thankful to get to spend some time together in the islands with you today, but I'm even more excited about tonight. 8 o'clock p.m. Central Time, Island Time Live. You and I and all kinds of other cruisers and islanders get to interact together and share tips and tricks and get advice on where do we park on our next cruise and what excursion do we do in Cozumel. All the questions that you want to ask, you can ask in a forum of islanders. Please plan to join us. Set your alarm or simply subscribe and ring that bell to receive notifications when we upload content or go live. As soon as I push that live button and you're subscribed, it will tell you that Island Time is now live. Cruise news. There's been a ton of cruise news. Royal Caribbean with their end of year earnings report on Friday. They opened the book up. They really did. And they shared all kinds of information about we're starting to maybe see a picture of when we can take back some of these protocols. If you did not catch our show yesterday, which I shared some of these statements from Royal Caribbean executives, look right here, watch the video. It's interesting and exciting to see. Cruising may be starting to return to what it looked like in 2019 and early 2020, but they were not done with those comments. They also shared some specific numbers on COVID positive cases within Royal Caribbean Group. Royal Caribbean executives shared that since the restart, that they have carried 1.3 million guests. And of those 1.3 million guests, they've had about 2,500 guests test positive for COVID-19, 2,500 out of 1.3 million. Is cruising safe? The data doesn't lie. That's a positivity rate of 0.19%, and I don't care which state you live in, honestly, what country you live in, you would take that positivity rate. In crazy numbers from Royal Caribbean. Jason Liberty, of course, leader of Royal Caribbean Group, shared this. The positivity rate is still a small fraction of what it is in society at large, and nearly all cases on board were asymptomatic or had mild symptoms. He kind of credits Royal Caribbean and their protocols, which the protocols are just about the same across the industry. He says our rigorous health and safety protocols with 100% vaccination rate among our crew and close to 100% vaccination rate among our guests provide a safe environment where we can fulfill our mission of delivering amazing vacations, and our guests are responding by providing record net promoter scores for us, exceeding their expectations. We're seeing that same thing that Royal Caribbean shared Friday in their earnings report with Carnival, Norwegian, Celebrity, you name it. Guests are giving cruise lines the highest scores they ever had. They're giving them more money on board, with onboard spending being higher than ever. It's reflective that people are really appreciative to cruise. Michael Bailey, president and CEO of Royal Caribbean International, he said that while Omicron did have it had an impact on the business, it wasn't as big as what maybe people would think. His exact quote is this: 99% of the crew positivity was asymptomatic, and the 1% was extremely mild symptoms. I mean, it was really remarkable in many ways, but the impact on the crew was effectively zero, except to take them out of operation for the period of their quarantine. That is great news to hear from Michael Bailey. That yes, we know these positivity rates and the cases increased. They're on their way down now. But while they were increasing, there was no major cases. Think about if we had a crew or passenger death from COVID-19. You think we would hear about that? I think the media would take care of that. I think government and senators, if we had one death, they would say, hey, you don't need to cruise. It's great to hear that protocols have worked for Royal Caribbean Group, Royal Caribbean International, and it's the same across the industry. I had to share those numbers with you today. As always, I want to get your thoughts. What do you think on this news and the data that Royal Caribbean has shared? 2,500 guests out of 1.3 million have contracted COVID. Is that what you thought? Is that lower than what you thought? Share your thoughts below. I would love to read them and interact with you below as we get to our next story regarding Crystal Cruises, who is actually a luxurious, nice cruise line who has very dedicated passengers. The Crystal Symphony and Serenity, who have been trying to escape and not come back to the United States to be seized, have been seized by authorities in the Bahamas. The cruise ships were being sought by U.S. Marshals. You can remember one ship was supposed to go back to Miami about a week ago. They said, no, we're going to Bimini. We're going to offload our passengers. We're going to ferry them across to Florida. It's a couple of hour trip and we're going to stay right here. And that's all because their parent company, Genting Hong Kong, had to file for bankruptcy. They ran out of business. There was unpaid fuel bills. And that's the reason why these cruise ships had a warrant out for their arrest. The cruise line has suspended operations through at least April until they can figure out what does business look like beyond this. Can we get back on our feet? Will someone acquire us, and so forth? But the two ships diverted to the Bahamas to evade seizure, and it worked. For a little while it did. But you can't run forever, right? Is that not a life lesson in itself? You cannot run forever. They did what they were supposed to do with passengers. I will say that much. They took care of passengers, and it sounds like they've taken care of crew too. We'll get to that here in a second. But first, I want to play you this exclusive video from the captain of Crystal Symphony, where the captain has been notified that, hey, your ship has been seized. We need to take possession of your ship. And the captain, in turn, makes an announcement to crew members who are on board, no passengers, crew members on board, to let them know the news. Watch this right here.
The ship has been placed under arrest by the local authorities over some unpaid bills. And as bad as it sounds, it's actually quite a good thing to happen. And we've been told that this will not affect any personal movements, so the crew movement and the crew sign-offs can still go as planned, and we are in process of preparing those. So some unfortunate news, but it was actually quite expected. So thank you for this, and until later.
Sounds, it's actually quite a good thing. I can imagine him being the captain of the ship. He's been given orders to do whatever he's needed to do, whatever his boss has said he has done. And I bet there's a little bit of relief there from the captain saying, okay, this whole thing is over, thank goodness. And it sounds like the way that this happened, as he says, crew members are still able to sign off as we have planned. And so it sounds like it's been the best end case, and this may not be the end, but the next step, the best thing that could happen for the crew. That's the cruise news for today. We cannot wait to see you tonight, 8 o'clock p.m. Central Time. We will be here. I'm excited for it. We'll see you tonight right here on Island Time.